Right now on ABC 10 News at 4, 1 dead, 4 injured in last night's deadly shooting in the Gaslamp. We have crews live downtown to bring you the very latest. Plus, San Diego police are reporting a recent uptick in violent crime. We're going to take a look at those numbers specifically in downtown. And after many recent shutdowns, the new expansion of the vaccination superstation at the Del Mar Fairgrounds.
ABC 10 News at 4 starts now.
Over the next several weeks, citizens and patrons of the Gaslamp area will see an increased presence of San Diego police officers.
That is San Diego Police Chief David Nislight making the announcement less than an hour ago in response to last night's deadly shooting spree in the Gaslamp quarter. Good afternoon. I'm Steve Atkinson in for Kimberly Hunt. We have live team coverage on every development, but first, let's get you up to date on exactly what happened last night. Here's a quick breakdown. 32-year-old Travis Saraste has been arrested. Police say he opened fire on several people overnight, killing one of them and injuring 4 others. He's being charged with 1 count of first-degree murder and 4 counts of first-degree attempted murder. His motive is unclear at this time. He's not eligible for bail either. Now, this is a map of where this all went down. Police say it started around 10:30 last night near J Street and 5th. They say the gunman was near the valet stand of the Pendry Hotel. There, he pulled out a handgun and shot and killed 1 person. Police say the suspect then walked north up 5th towards Island Avenue. Witnesses say the suspect then purposely bumped into several people and started arguments. And at one point, police say he confronted a group of men and shot 4 of them. That's when they say that some witnesses chased the suspect up 5th Avenue and tackled him before officers got there and then arrested him. Now let's go back out live to the area of the shooting outside the Pendry Hotel in the Gaslamp. Our ABC 10 News anchor Lindsay Pena is heading up our team coverage there. So Lindsay, what does it look like this afternoon?
Yeah, Steve, things are pretty much back to normal here in the Gaslamp. We're right across from the Pendry Hotel where this all started last night. No real sign of the chaos and the violence that erupted so suddenly. My colleague Jennifer De La Cruz is also here in the Gaslamp, and she has more on how those events exactly played out last night. Jennifer.
Hey, Lindsay, this tragedy is what everybody here has been talking about that we've been speaking with today, and it happened over several city blocks. The first shooting happened near 5th and J, 1 block to our south, which is right where Lindsay is standing. Here on 5th and Island, this is where 4 more people were shot before the shooter ran 2 blocks to the north. That's where witnesses came by, tackled that suspect until police took him into custody. A deadly shooting spree through the streets of downtown Thursday night, keeping residents on edge.
2 shots, and then maybe about 3-4 minutes went by, I heard another 2 shots.
Police cars swarming through several blocks after shots went off around 10:30 in the bustling Gaslamp quarter. Bystanders tending to the victims, holding their wounds and waiting for help. Police say the first shooting was on 5th and J Street, where a 28-year-old man was shot and killed. The second shooting on 5th and Island, where 4 people were shot. The gunman then ran to 5th and G, where he was tased by police and arrested. Witnesses say all of the victims appeared to be totally random to the shooter.
It didn't look like he was in the right state of mind. It was just pretty much anybody, like the way he was moving and walking around was anybody that came close to him, that he was kind of like agitated.
After that second shooting, police say bystanders chased after the gunman and tackled him, trying to hold him down for police. Patricia Botello lives nearby and heard it all unfold.
Because it was one police car after the other.
She says ever since things started to reopen, she's seen more violence here.
I have a feeling there's going to be a percentage of us that are going to think twice about coming down.
Businesses and residents tell ABC 10 News they're hoping to see more police patrolling this neighborhood moving forward.
This one is kind of numbing because it could have been anybody, to be honest. This one hits hard, you know? It's a little bit different.
And while, of course, this is a tragedy, there is a bright spot here. Chief Nislight was commending the witnesses who ran in and tackled that suspect as they waited for police to arrive, and in them doing so may have prevented even more people from getting hurt. Police say, once again, there will be more patrols here in this area. Lindsay?
Thank you, Jennifer. Now, as you mentioned, just about an hour ago, we heard some more information from San Diego Police Chief David Nislight. He said that those first shots fired that were directed at that valet worker were unprovoked. Now, that man, as Jen mentioned, was a 28-year-old man working here at the Pendry Hotel. His name is not being released right now. The other 4 victims, a 68-year-old man and 3 other men, all in their late 20s, all survived their injuries. 3 are still in the hospital this afternoon being treated. Chief Nislight thanked several citizens who were in this area who he says saved lives last night.
I'd like to thank a citizen who is a former combat medic who rendered medical aid to one of the severely injured men who was a victim in the second shooting at 5th and Island. This medic saved that man's life.
So at this point, as we said, none of the names of those victims are being released. We do know that we spoke to a young man who said that his father was that 68-year-old victim, that he was down here to see his son play a show last night and unfortunately never made it. Chief Nislight also said that those other 3 men, the other shooting victims, were all friends that were visiting from out of town. My other colleague, Rena Nakano, is also down here in the Gaslamp. She has more on how the Gaslamp Association is trying to get more security out here and what they had to say about what visitors can expect in the coming weeks.
The Gaslamp District, many people say, is like the gateway to the city of San Diego. It's where many tourists and locals come to enjoy themselves. But lately, San Diego police say they've been here a lot more often.
A senseless tragedy unfolding in one of San Diego's most popular social settings.
Our hearts and prayers go out to the families and to the businesses that were directly impacted, the Pendry Hotel and Ace Parking.
Michael Trimble is the executive director of the Gaslamp Quarter Association. He says it was heartbreaking to see his area be the backdrop of another violent incident. According to San Diego police statistics, the department has seen a 70% increase in the number of shots fired calls this year compared to last. ABC 10 News looked at our archives and found at least 10 violent incidents in the downtown area since the beginning of the year. Some include the January 31st shooting death of an 18-year-old at the Days Inn on Ash Street, an officer-involved shooting on February 25th at Horton Plaza, another officer-involved shooting on March 1st where a stray bullet hit a pedestrian. On April 7th, an innocent man's hand was nearly severed by a machete when he tried to break up a fight. And on April 12th, a crosstown chase turned into a deadly SWAT standoff at San Diego High School.
You can't really put your finger on why last night happened.
Trimble says despite these incidents, he hopes it doesn't deter folks from visiting the historic Gaslamp Quarter. The association is now in talks with the mayor's office and the police department to set up permanent bollards for outdoor diners as well as increase patrols.
Knowing that we have private security at businesses, you have security that the association employs, and then you also have the police department. So really, everyone is looking out for our visitors coming to the Gaslamp.
Trimble says the association is now working with the DA's office to offer grief counseling and crisis management to visitors and member businesses. You can find that information on our website, 10news.com. In downtown, I'm Rena Nakano, ABC 10 News.
Now, coming up a little bit later at 4:30, we're going to have more from San Diego police and what they say has been an uptick in violent crime that they've witnessed over the last few months, over the last year or so. We're going to show you what exactly they say they're going to be doing to make things safer here in the Gaslamp for everyone that's in this area. For now, we're reporting live in the Gaslamp. Lindsay Pena, ABC 10 News. Steve, back to you.
People very concerned, Lindsay, with things opening back up too. All right, thank you for the update. Okay, you can stay on top of this and other breaking news as it happens with the ABC 10 News app. We're going to send alerts right to your phone. It is free in the App Store and in Google Play. Vaccine advisors for the CDC voted today to recommend resuming the use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, but an updated warning will be added to the label.
We absolutely agree with the FDA on the implementation of a warning within our label and patient and physician fact sheets describing this very rare event, including how it can be identified early and diagnosed and treated.
The vaccine's rollout has been on pause for more than a week after a small percentage of women experienced rare blood clots. Now, as we mentioned, a label will be added indicating that women under the age of 50 should be aware of the risk of blood clots. The U.S. has more than 9 million Johnson & Johnson doses ready to go. And we're learning the names of the 2 teenagers who were killed in that crash near SeaWorld Wednesday night. Police have identified the driver as 18-year-old Colton Sargent. His passenger was 18-year-old Ava Bender. Now, it was previously reported that the two were 19 years old. Both were San Diegans. Police say that Sergeant was speeding on SeaWorld Drive when he lost control of his truck, hit a pole, then a street light. Rescue crews had to use the jaws of life to get the two out. They were both pronounced dead at the scene.
As we've all learned during the pandemic, things are constantly changing and evolving. The CDC is now considering revisiting guidelines for wearing a mask. One area of particular interest is outdoors, especially among vaccinated people. Now, we already know through multiple studies the risk of catching COVID outdoors when you're not in a packed setting like a rally or a sporting event is very low.
As we begin to see more and more people, and hopefully eventually the vast majority of people become vaccinated, the risk of outdoor transmission, again, low as it was to begin with, becomes as close to zero as could possibly be.
So experts say science tells us that masks outdoors for vaccinated people really aren't necessary. But before you ditch that mask, listen to this.
The thinking about wearing a mask outdoors over the next few weeks to months has less to do with the likelihood that someone is going to transmit the virus outdoors and more as a courtesy and establishing a social norm and also modeling for children. So modeling good behavior around mask wearing for children who may not grasp the nuances of outdoors versus indoor masking.
Northwestern School of Medicine called wearing a mask a symbol of solidarity and social courtesy. Meanwhile, the fact is, while many Americans are getting the best protection from the virus through vaccines, this pandemic is not over.
We still have a fair number of patients who are critically ill in our ICUs, just as we did throughout the pandemic. And so, this has not gone away by any means.
More than a year now into the pandemic, the U.S. may finally have enough N95 masks. Manufacturers say they have plenty for sale. Many hospitals are reporting a 3 to 12 month supply. And because of this, the government is considering backing off its emergency order that allows hospitals to ration and reuse these N95 masks. The FDA is expected to issue updated guidance soon that will likely go back to using a new mask for each patient.